Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. Also posted a link to the Marvel fan page with a link to the story where you can get plot synopsis and character bio. So, we're going to be looking at Punisher War Journal number 8 from 1989. Now, it does have this iconic cover. The cover is by both Jim Lee and Klaus Janson. I think it's the first time they've ever collaborated. So you see Jim Lee and Janson with these big bold lines. However, the reason we are looking at this, we'll be looking through all of Jim Lee's Punisher run. I've already covered the first 7 issues. We don't cover them in depth. Most of the time, I focus on the art. This is Jim Lee's pencils and inks on the inside. So you had seen him as a finisher for the first half of the series, then sort of the penciler, and now dude is on his own. So, great cover, like I said. Now, I laugh because by the late 80s, this approved by the Comics Code Authority. When you see what's inside, you're like, they approved this? And yes, they did. So it makes sense why it no longer exists. So this character of Damage is in the inside. So like I said, we're going to be focusing on Jim Lee's art. He is inking himself. He's not quite X-Men Jim Lee, but he's very close because I think he's doing the X-Men within a few months from now. So this is one of the guys that's been setting up to a neighborhood watch. And he turns around. Look at the screen tones that are applied here and here. So, and they just start shooting. This guy, his name is Damage. He just starts shooting indiscriminately, killing both the man, the baby, the woman. Just, I. I don't know if things are that bad nowadays, but I'm sure they are. People on drive-bys, shootings, man, they don't care what they hit. But this is the late 80s, and it just goes to show you that the same problems that were back then are sort of still going around now. So, all right. So again, for the most part, we're focusing on the art. And Jim Lee was quite the ink slinger. Let me go back here. Look at this. Just slinging ink to get the blood. Just amazing. Dashing out the speed lines. So you can see that his partner is just not into the blood the way that he sort of is. So here comes the Punisher. And so again, the story itself we're not focused on. We're gonna focus on Jim Lee inking this. And so this is the guy that was with Damage. And so freeze sucker. That's so 80s. Alright, so he's looking for his friend. This was also done in better paper. This wasn't just your general newsprint. They used a different paper now during this time. It was sort of newsprintish, but not quite. And look at Jim Lee just laying out the screen tones here. Just bam, bam, bam. He was really putting an effort, and look at all this inking done by Jim Lee. No Scott Williams at this time. This is his grandmother. So, and so, yeah, this will be, normally I go through and just explain stuff, what's going on, but in this case, with this, comics are both a visual and you do both. You read and you look at the pretty pictures. In this case, we're not really reading this. We are looking at the pretty pictures. Um, I'm mostly into superhero comic books, and I actually ended up buying these after Jim Lee had taken over the X-Men, and you'd be amazed at how affordable these were. And in fact, you can still buy these. Aren't expensive issues, so if you want to get your hand on them, I'm sure you can find them like an entire run for maybe $5 an issue. So it's just pretty cool here. So look at Jim Lee just putting all this great stuff. Look at this. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. One of the things he did is he kept the costume, but only he got rid of the white and just kind of made him all black. But I like the white. Like the white gloves and the white boots. So, and look at all this fire power. Goodness gracious. So you could see that this is like middle of the road Jim Lee, meaning, it's not early Jim Lee. It's not there's two middle of the roads. There's early middle of the roads, so this would be early middle of the road. Late middle of the road would be the end of his X-Men run, beginning of Wildcats, and now his modern. Like now, even though he doesn't ink himself for the most part, he does on when he sketches stuff, of course. But with Scott Williams, if you've noticed, he does a lot of hatching now, like even more so. Whereas here, there was hardly any hatching whatsoever, but he hatches so much now. So, can you believe, like I said, that this was all approved by the Comics Code Authority? I don't think they were giving a shit anymore during the 80s. So, when DC and Marvel say, we're done with them, I don't think, they. So, even though Klaus Janson is not inking the inside, this does look very Klaus Janson-ish, this particular thing. Um, so, and so Punisher fighting them, and so he's gonna try to go into the Punisher's and so he gets caught in these coils, and so there's like two stories going on at the same time. And Carl Potts, that's why I was like, I'm not interested in these secondary stories. This is leading up um to another thing, but yeah, I just this stuff just never interested me. It was Jim Lee. Jim Lee was the only draw that I had to the Punisher. Um, if you can get a writer that I care about, I'll read it like Garth Ennis did and all that kind of stuff. But um, I just if you get a good artist, I will also do it. But other than that, I don't really care about the Punisher. But anyway, so Punisher War Journal number 8, Jim Lee's very first ink job. I like it. I think he should ink himself all the time. I love these. You can see he's using brush and all these kind of things. Man, this guy's just slinging away. Um, I wish he would do more of this. So, all right, like and subscribe, and thanks for listening.